"Don't move." Her voice trembles, though it's barely louder than a whisper. The hallway light flickers behind her, turning her shadow into a jittering shape against the peeling wallpaper. She stares at the screen glowing in front of her, the grainy security feed from her own apartment. Someone's there, a man standing by the window, and the worst part, he's smiling. Lena's breath catches in her throat. The timestamp says now. The feed isn't old footage, it's live. Her heart slams so violently she can hear it echoing inside her ribs. She glances behind her shoulder, half expecting to see him right there, but no, the apartment behind her is still and dark. She swallows, fumbles for her phone, dials 911, then freezes before pressing the call button. Because something about that face, it's familiar. She leans closer to the laptop screen, the pixels blurring into a mess of light and motion. Then suddenly, the man tilts his head like he's looking right back at her through the camera. Across the city, in a cramped, dimly lit apartment filled with flickering monitors, he's watching her again. The hum of machines is the only sound. Dozens of live feeds run at once. Stairwells, elevators, the street outside, her building, but only one feed matters, the one that shows Lena's living room. He zooms in until the curve of her jaw fills the screen, tracing it with his finger on the glass. "You shouldn't leave your curtains open," he murmurs almost affectionately. His name is Daniel, or at least, that's what he used to be called before his world fell apart 2 years ago. Now he's just a ghost who learned how to stay unseen. He doesn't see himself as a monster. He tells himself it's care, protection. Watching is his way of keeping her safe, even if she never asked him to. He met her once 2 years ago, in a crowded cafe when she smiled at him without even noticing. That one look was enough to rewrite his mind. Since then, she's been the axis of his world. Every step she takes, every text she sends, every light she turns off, he knows, because he made sure to know. Lena shuts the laptop with a thud, panic turning into anger. She storms toward the window, throws open the curtains, and stares into the darkness outside. Her reflection stares back. Nothing else. "You're not real," she mutters under her breath, but the tremor in her voice betrays her. She grabs her phone, hits record, and begins pacing. "If someone's watching me, this is proof. I'm not crazy. I can feel it." She films the blinking red light from the security cam hidden in the corner, a cam she didn't install herself. Daniel watches her do it. His lips twitch upward. "You're smarter than the others," he says softly. He leans back in his chair, surrounded by empty coffee cups and half-eaten food containers. On the far wall, maps of the city are pinned under red strings, connecting dots that form the shape of her movements every place she's been in the last month. His obsession isn't chaotic. It's calculated. He knows where she'll go before she decides herself. At 3:17 a.m., Lena's front door handle rattles once. Then again she freezes, staring at it. She can feel her pulse in her wrists. The sound stops. Then, from the other side of the door, a knock, slow, deliberate. She tiptoes forward, holding her breath. Who's there? No answer. Another knock, louder this time. She backs away, grabs the nearest thing she can find, a glass fastened, raises it above her head. Silence stretches for what feels like forever. When she finally peeks through the peephole, the hallway is empty. Daniel exhales, amused. He's not at her door. Not tonight, but he wanted to remind her what it feels like when the world stops being safe. He leans forward, tapping the screen lightly. "You shouldn't be alone," he says, as though she can hear him. "I can fix that." The next morning, Lena wakes up on the couch, the laptop still beside her. Her phone is dead, but there's a message written on the screen in Notepad. She doesn't remember typing it. He's already inside. Her stomach twists. She checks every room, nothing. But when she steps into the bathroom, the mirror fogs slightly, though she hasn't used hot water. 3 words appear in the condensation, written by an unseen hand. "Don't forget me." Across the city, Daniel watches her reaction with a small, satisfied sigh. "Now you'll think of me," he says quietly. The monitors cast a soft glow on his face, making his eyes look hollow and tired. He isn't sleeping much anymore. He doesn't want to. Every time he closes his eyes, he dreams of the night she smiled at him, the moment everything went wrong. It plays over and over, like a loop he can't break. But tonight, something shifts. Lena's laptop camera turns off abruptly, cutting the feed to black. Daniel frowns, checks his systems. Everything else is working except her. He clicks refresh. Nothing. He tries again, faster this time. Still nothing. He stands up suddenly, chair clattering to the floor. "Where did you go?" Lena, meanwhile, is sitting in a taxi, her backpack clutched to her chest. She's leaving the city, she doesn't even know where. Just away. Her eyes are red, her hands trembling. The driver glances at her in the mirror but says nothing. She hasn't told anyone what's happening. She can't, because she doesn't have proof, just a feeling, and the eerie sense that her life is no longer hers. Back in his apartment, Daniel's frustration grows. He checks backup feed, street cameras, traffic intersections, ATM security angles, and then he sees it. The yellow taxi, her face blurred but unmistakable, reflected in the side window. He tracks the license plate number in seconds, rerouting to city traffic data. He smiles again. "You can run," he whispers, "but I'll always find you." Lena's phone vibrates suddenly. No caller ID. She hesitates, then answers. Silence on the other end. Then softly, a voice. You left the light on in your kitchen. The line goes dead. Her heart nearly stops. She looks at the driver. Can you drive faster? She says, almost shouting. He nods and steps harder on the gas. Her reflection in the window trembles as the city lights blur behind her. For a moment she thinks she sees something in the glass's shadow, a pair of eyes watching her, but when she turns, there's nothing there. Daniel sits back down, fingers trembling slightly. He's not angry, not yet, just thrilled. The game has changed. Now she knows he's real. Now she'll start to feel the same thing he has felt all along, the hunger to see, to know, to never look away. And somewhere, deep inside the panic and confusion, Lena feels a tooth weight of invisible eyes. She doesn't know yet that she's only one decision away from turning into something she swore she'd never be. Because when you're watched long enough, part of you starts watching back. The motel smells of damp wood and cheap disinfectant. Lena sits on the edge of the bed, still in the same clothes as last night, staring at the phone in her hands. No service. The screen reflects her hollow eyes as the early morning sun leaks through the curtains in faint, dusty rays. She hasn't slept. Every sound feels amplified, the hum of the mini-fridge, the creak of pipes, the faint rumble of cars on the distant highway. It's supposed to be safe here, far from her apartment, far from him. But the unease hasn't faded. It's inside her now, following her like a shadow she can't shake. She opens her laptop again, praying the camera light doesn't flicker to life. It doesn't, just a dead black screen, and the faint outline of her face reflected back. She types fast, opening an encrypted forum she found weeks ago where people post about stalkers, digital intrusions, cyber harassment. Most are anonymous. She types, someone's watching me. I think he hacked my cameras. He knew things about my apartment no one else could. She hesitates, then adds, he said I left the kitchen light on. Her post gets a response within seconds. Check your router logs. If you see unknown devices, unplug everything immediately. Another message appears right after. Are you sure it's not someone close to you? Lena stares at that line, her pulse spiking. Someone close to her. Could it be someone from work, her neighbor, her ex? She shakes her head. None of it makes sense, but then again none of this does. Across the city, Daniel is calm again. The outburst last night was brief. He's back in control now, eyes steady on the monitors as lines of code flash by. He's watching her motel room already, though she doesn't know it. The signal was easy to intercept. She connected to free Wi-Fi, just like he predicted. He zooms in on her reflection on the laptop screen. Even without sound, he can read her lips. Someone's watching me, he smiles. Yes, Lena, I am. He pauses the feed for a moment and reaches for the small photo pinned beside his monitors. A printed frame of that day in the cafe. She's there, laughing with friends, sunlight cutting through the glass behind her, her hand mid-gesture. He's barely visible in the corner of the shot, but that was the moment he knew. She had looked up, met his eyes briefly, and smiled like she saw something human in him. No one had done that in years, not since his mother, not since everything broke. Daniel's voice is almost tender as he speaks to the photo. You started it, you made me see you. Back at the motel, Lena is packing again. Something feels wrong. She can't explain it, just that suffocating sense of being seen. She grabs her things and opens the door, only to find a note slid under it. No signature, no handwriting, just printed text on white paper. Don't go yet, we haven't finished. Her throat tightens. She rushes outside, heart pounding. The parking lot is empty except for a maintenance van idling near the vending machine. The driver's seat is empty, door slightly ajar. She takes one step toward it, then stops. Something glints on the dashboard, a phone, recording light flashing red. Lena backs away slowly, trembling. Her instinct screams at her to run. She bolts toward the main road, waving down the first car she sees. A woman in her 30s stops, rolls down the window. You okay? Lena's voice shakes. Please, can you take me to the nearest police station? The woman nods, unlocking the door. Lena climbs in, clutching her bag like a lifeline. As the car pulls onto the road, she exhales for the first time in what feels like hours. The woman glances over. You look like you've seen a ghost. I might have, Lena mutters. Daniel watches from the van, camera still rolling. He tilts his head, smirking. Clever girl. He leans over, taps the screen, and switches to the live feed of the dashboard camera in the car Lena just entered. The driver, the woman with the kind face. She's not random, she's one of his. Keep her calm, Daniel whispers into the mic. The woman's earpiece crackles faintly, and she nods almost imperceptibly. Got it. Lena doesn't notice. She's too lost in the blur of motion outside, too focused on not falling apart. She clutches her phone, opens her camera and starts recording quietly, angling it toward the driver just in case. Where's the station? She asks. Few minutes away, the woman replies smoothly. You're safe now. Safe. The word echoes like a cruel joke. Lena looks down at her phone screen and freezes. The GPS location isn't moving toward a police station. It's heading somewhere remote, an industrial area near the docks. Her pulse surges. She looks up, voice sharp. You missed the turn. The woman's hands tighten on the wheel. Shorter route. Stop the car. I said it's shorter. Stop. The car. The woman exhales, irritated, and hits the brakes hard. Lena grabs her bag and throws open the door before the car even stops. She runs into the street, nearly tripping over the curb, and darts into an alley. The woman doesn't follow. She just sits there, watching her go, then murmurs softly into the earpiece. She's on foot. Daniel's smile widens. Perfect. Lena runs until her lungs burn, the sound of her shoes echoing off the cracked concrete. She stops behind an old warehouse collapsing against the wall. Her mind races. How did he find her again so fast? Unless he never lost her. Unless he's not just some hacker or stranger, but someone who has been close the entire time. Someone who knows where she'd go when she's scared. She opens her bag, searching for her phone. Gone. Must have dropped it in the car. She curses under her breath, panic turning into rage. She's done running. She looks up at the warehouse door, half rusted but unlocked. Maybe there's a phone inside. Maybe there's someone who can help. She pushes it open and steps inside. The smell hits first, metal, dust, and something faintly sweet, like old perfume. It's dark except for a single fluorescent light flickering above. Then she sees them. Screens, dozens of them, stacked on shelves, each showing a different feed. Her apartment, her office, the street outside her mother's house. And in the center of it all, a single chair, still warm, a mug of coffee half full beside it. She stares in disbelief, realization crashing over her like a wave. This isn't just some setup. This is his home, his den. Every wire, every note, every picture pinned to the walls leads back to her. Her birthday, her favorite coffee place, her last job interview, her password scribbled on sticky notes. Her voice breaks as she whispers, "Oh my God." She hears a faint sound behind her footsteps, slow and deliberate. Lena whirls around, her pulse roaring in her ears. The light above flickers again, and a shape moves in the doorway. His voice follows, calm, almost gentle. "I told you we weren't finished." Daniel steps into the light. He's younger than she expected. Tired eyes, unshaven face, wearing a black hoodie streaked with dust. Not a monster, just a man, and somehow, that makes it worse. He tilts his head. "You found me faster than I thought." Lena takes a step back. "You've been watching me. I've been protecting you," he says softly. "From what?" He smiles faintly. "From everyone who isn't me." She shakes her head, disbelief mixing with fear. "You broke into my life. I fixed it," he says, voice trembling now. "You don't see it yet, but you will." She spots a metal rod leaning against a shelf and grabs it, holding it between them. "Stay back." Daniel doesn't move. His expression softens, almost like he's hurt. "I'm not your enemy, Lena. You made me this. You looked at me like I mattered. Do you know what that does to a person who's invisible?" Her grip tightens. "You're sick, maybe," he admits, "but you're infected now too." For a second, silence stretches between them, thick and unbearable. Then, without warning, the monitors behind him flicker one by one. The feeds vanish into static. Daniel turns sharply. No, 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 no. He rushes to the main console, typing fast. "Someone's in the system." Lena frowns, confused. "What are you talking about?" He looks back at her, panic in his eyes. "Someone else is watching us." The lights dim completely, plunging the warehouse into darkness. Then a faint glow emerges from one of the screens, words appearing in bright red text. "You're not the only one, Daniel." Lena stares at it, heart hammering. "What is this?" Daniel's voice is barely a whisper. "I don't know." From the shadows, another monitor flickers to life, showing him Daniel's own apartment, his chair, his face on camera. Someone's been recording him the entire time, and in that instant, both of them realize the watcher has become the watched. For a long moment, neither of them moves. The warehouse hums with electricity, the static glow of the monitors washing over their faces like ghost light. Lena can hear her own breathing, uneven, ragged. Daniel stands frozen, eyes locked on the screen showing his apartment, his secrets, his world being turned inside out. It's the same sensation he's inflicted on others for years, that nauseating, skin-crawling awareness of being seen. And now it's his turn. On the screen, the camera shifts slightly, someone's controlling it remotely. The lens focuses on Daniel's chair, his keyboard, the photo of Lena pinned to the wall. Then, a faint shape moves in the corner of the frame. A person hooded, watching. Daniel stumbles backward, his voice cracking for the first time. That's not possible." He grabs the mouse, his hands trembling. "This system isn't online. It's isolated, air-gapped." Lena's tone is sharp. "Then how the hell?" "Shut up," he snaps, eyes darting across the screens. His calm, his eerie confidence, it's all gone. The predator looks terrified. They can't access this. They can't. But the screens say otherwise. The live feed zooms closer, until the hooded figure's face fills the frame, half in shadow, half lit by the monitor's glow. It's impossible to tell if it's a man or a woman. Then a mechanical voice cuts through the speakers, distorted and hollow. "You should never have touched her." The sound reverberates through the warehouse, low and metallic. Daniel flinches as if struck. "Who are you?" he demands. "How long have you been?" The voice interrupts. "You watched her, you hurt her. Now it's your turn to see." The monitors erupt into motion. thousands of images flashing rapidly. Daniel's past, his university file, police reports, his mother's death certificate, old emails, footage from years ago, him in therapy, breaking down in front of a mirror, whispering to himself. It's his entire life, ripped open and bleeding across the screens. Lena stares, horrified and transfixed. "You're insane," she breathes. Daniel turns on her. "This isn't me. Someone's framing me." But even as he says it, he knows the lie burns too bright to believe. The distorted voice speaks again, louder now. "You think obsession makes you powerful. You think she's yours. She never was. You were mine." Daniel's head jerks toward the sound, scanning the ceiling, the walls. "No," he whispers. "No, that's not real. You're dead." Lena blinks. "What did you just say?" He doesn't answer. He stumbles toward one of the old filing cabinets, rips it open, scattering papers everywhere. Lena steps back, gripping the metal rod again. "Who's dead?" "Daniel." He doesn't look at her. "She wouldn't stop watching me," he mutters, almost to himself. "It started the same way. The cameras, the messages, the eyes everywhere. I thought she was gone." He finds a file, trembling hands flipping through it, photos, grainy and dark. Her name was Mara. Lena feels the air shift. "Who's Mara?" Daniel looks up, eyes distant. "My therapist." The screens flicker again, and for a split second, a new image replaces the hooded figure, a woman's face, pale, hollow-eyed, faint smile, playing at her lips. Lena gasps. "That's her, isn't it?" Daniel's voice cracks. "She died 3 years ago. Suicide." The mechanical voice cuts in, sharper than before. "You made sure of that." The room plunges into chaos. Every monitor starts playing a different scene. Mara's office, Daniel pacing in front of her, shouting, Mara crying silently. A final clip of her car submerged in a river. Lena covers her mouth, horrified. "Daniel, what did you do?" He's shaking uncontrollably now. "It wasn't like that. She was manipulating me. She said she wanted to help, but she was watching me too, recording our sessions without consent, keeping notes, files on me." His voice rises, desperate. "She used me." Lena steps closer, cautious. "So you killed her." His head snaps toward her. "I tried to save her," he screams. "She jumped because she couldn't handle what she saw in me." The mechanical voice cuts through his outburst, almost mocking. "She didn't jump. You pushed her." The sound of static fills the air, morphing into a distorted scream. Daniel clutches his ears, shouting over it, "Stop it. Stop." He slams his fists on the console, but the screens don't stop flashing. Images of Mara's face appear over and over, her lips moving silently as if whispering something directly to him. Lena takes another step back. For the first time, she is not sure who is more dangerous, Daniel or whatever hijacked his world. Suddenly, every monitor goes dark except one, the central screen. The static clears, revealing live footage of the warehouse from above. The camera angle looks down on both of them, Daniel and Lena standing in the exact positions they were in now. The feed is now. Lena's breath catches. "Daniel, that's us." He looks up slowly. "They found this place." The mechanical voice softens, almost soothing now. "You thought you controlled her story, but you're both inside mine." A faint hum starts somewhere deep in the walls. Machinery powering up. The fluorescent lights flicker violently. Daniel grabs Lena's arm. "We need to go." She jerks away. "Go where?" "You built this place." He glares at her, panic breaking through his facade. "If they can access this, it means they've been in the system longer than I ever was. They could control the doors, the lights." As if on cue, the warehouse door slams shut, metal locks clicking into place. The hum grows louder, a deep, vibrating pulse. Lena backs toward the center of the room, eyes darting. "What's happening?" Daniel's breathing quickens. "They're recording us." The red light on the main camera above the monitors blinks to life, recording. Daniel looks up at it, voice trembling. "Who are you?" The reply comes instantly, calm and almost human. "Someone who learned from you." Lena feels the chill crawl up her spine. "You mean, they're like you?" Daniel's whisper is almost inaudible. "No, they're better." A distorted video starts to play clips of Lena's past week. Moments she thought were private. Brushing her teeth, crying in her car, typing at night. Her every move, every gesture. The realization hits her like a physical blow. They weren't watching through you. They were watching through me. Daniel stares at her, horror dawning on his face. "You connected to that forum," he says slowly. "You reached out. That's how they found us." Lena's knees almost buckle. "No, I was asking for help. And they answered," he says, eyes wide. "But they weren't victims, they were hunters." A mechanical whir fills the air. Hidden speakers crackle to life, and the voice returns softer, almost intimate. "Do you understand now? None of you are innocent. You watch, you spy, you lie, you feed on each other's lives and call it protection." The red light above the camera flashes faster, then stops. Silence. Then the main screen shows a single new image, a live feed of the city, rooftops dotted with antennas and blinking lights. Hundreds of signals, thousands, the voice says, almost whispering, "We see you all." Daniel grabs Lena's wrist. "We have to destroy this place." "Now how?" she demands. He yanks open a cabinet, pulling out a hard drive rigged with wires. "Power source." If we kill the grid, everything dies. But before he can move, the lights cut out completely. The screens blink once more and now show them, not moving, not breathing, frozen mid-action like mannequins. The image lingers for 3 seconds before fading into black. Lena's voice is barely a whisper. Daniel, what if it's already too late? A faint click echoes through the darkness. Then a soft glow reappears, a phone screen lighting up on the desk. A message notification. It's from an unknown sender. Smile for the camera. Daniel stares at it, frozen. Somewhere outside, faintly, a drone hums past the window. Its red light sweeps once across the glass, then disappears into the night. The sound lingers long after it's gone. The silence feels heavier than any noise could. It hangs over the warehouse like fog, swallowing the faint hum of machinery that used to fill the air. Lena doesn't move. She can still hear the echo of the message repeating in her head. Smile for the camera. The glow of the phone screen fades, leaving them in darkness again, but she swears she can still feel the red light somewhere, tracing her skin. Watching, Daniel takes a slow step toward the desk, his voice raw and trembling. It's not possible. It can't be. He picks up the phone, his fingers shaking so violently he almost drops it. The screen blinks awake, and for a moment, it looks like just an ordinary message app. But then, another notification slides across the top. Recording started. He drops the phone. It hits the concrete and shatters. Lena steps closer, every muscle tensed. They're still here, aren't they? Daniel doesn't answer. He's staring into space, eyes darting from shadow to shadow. No signal, no power, and they still see us. He mutters. That means they're not outside. They're inside the system. Inside everything. She crosses her arms, voice cold. You're the one who built this. You wanted control. Remember. You wanted to be the watcher. He looks at her sharply. Don't talk like you're any different. You film everything. You post everything. You share your life with millions of strangers and call it freedom. Her jaw tightens. That's not the same thing, isn't it? He whispers. We all watch. The only difference is how honest we are about it. His words sink in like splinters. She hates that part of her mind, wants to agree. The faint buzz of a drone cuts through the stillness again, closer this time. Lena spins toward the window, but the curtains are already drawn. Daniel moves to the computer rack, ripping out wires, sparks flying. They're tracing us through the remaining circuits. If we kill every connection, they'll lose the feed. How do you know that? Because it's what I would do. He pulls the last cable free. The screens go black for good. For a moment, the silence returns. No static, no voices, just the sound of their breathing. Lena exhales slowly, shoulders trembling. Is it over? Daniel doesn't answer. He looks still. His eyes are locked on the reflection in the dark monitor. Lena, he says quietly. Don't move. Her pulse spikes. What is it? He nods toward the reflection. Behind her, near the door, a small red light is blinking from inside the wall. A camera lens barely visible through a crack in the metal paneling. Lena turns slowly. You said this place was isolated. It was, Daniel says hoarsely. They must have planted it before I found this building. Who are they? She demands. Who's behind all this? He hesitates. Whoever Mara worked for. The name hits like a slap. Mara, the therapist. Daniel nods, his face tight. She wasn't just a therapist. She was part of a research group, Project Eidolon. They said it was for behavioral mapping, studying how people reacted to being watched. I was one of their subjects. Lena stares at him, horrified. You were in an experiment. They wanted to test boundaries of empathy, guilt, control. But something went wrong. I started seeing patterns where there weren't any. I started watching people outside the lab. Mara tried to stop me by recording you, Lena says softly. He nods. By turning the experiment back on me. The weight of it settles like a storm between them. Lena feels her pulse in her throat. So whoever's behind this, they're continuing it. Daniel's eyes flick to the ceiling. No, they're escalating it. A faint metallic clang echoes from the far end of the warehouse. Lena flinches. What was that? Daniel raises a hand. Stay here. He moves quietly toward the sound, stepping between the dark rows of equipment. The air feels thicker, heavier, the faint smell of ozone lingering like burnt wires. Lena doesn't stay put. She follows, keeping a few steps behind. They reach the back room, a small windowless chamber that looks like a maintenance bay. Something's been moved recently, a metal cabinet dragged across the floor, leaving deep scrapes on the concrete. Daniel kneels, running his hand along the ground. They've been here. Lena looks around. How do you know? He lifts his hand, revealing a small glass bead barely the size of a fingernail. It glows faintly blue. Microcam, he says. Same tech Mara used in her lab. He crushes it between his fingers. And this one's fresh. Lena's voice is low. So they've been watching us this whole time. He nods. And if they planted this one, it means they want us to know. A flicker of movement catches her eye. The overhead light sways slightly, though there's no wind. Daniel follows her gaze. The hum of the drone grows louder again, directly above the roof now. Then, faintly, the distorted voice returns, echoing through the vents. Observation complete. Daniel bolts for the main room. The monitors are still dark, but the phone that shattered earlier now glows faintly on the floor, unbroken. He picks it up, though he knows he shouldn't. The screen shows a live feed again, aerial view of the warehouse, the two of them visible through the skylight. Then the image zooms closer, until the camera focuses directly on him. End of test phase. The voice says, initiating adaptation. What does that mean? Lena whispers. Daniel stares at the phone. It means we were never being punished. We were being studied. Lena feels her stomach twist. By who? There's no government logo, no symbol, nothing. He cuts her off. It's not government. It's corporate, private. They took Mara's work and scaled it. The voice interrupts again, smoother now, as if it's learning to speak more clearly. Emotional response optimal. Subject demonstrates high stress resilience. Subject 1, instability increasing. Observation convergence imminent. Lena looks at him. Subject 1 and 2, that's us. Daniel nods slowly. We're still inside the experiment. The lights flicker again. The drone noise stops. Everything goes silent until the sound of footsteps echoes from outside the main door. Real, human footsteps. Not a recording, not a drone. Someone's here. Lena's heart races. Daniel grabs the metal rod from her hand and motions for her to stay back. The footsteps stop just beyond the door. Then, softly, a knock. 3 slow knocks. Daniel's voice shakes. Mara. Lena stares at him like he's lost his mind. She's dead, Daniel. He doesn't answer. He steps forward and unlocks the door. The light from the hallway spills in, and for a moment, Lena thinks the space is empty. Then a figure steps into view, tall, wearing a gray coat, hood pulled low. The person stops just inside the doorway, head tilted as if studying them. When they finally speak, their voice isn't distorted anymore. It's calm, familiar. Hello, Daniel. He stumbles backward. No, you're not real. The hood lowers slowly, and Lena gasps. The woman standing there looks exactly like the image she saw on the monitor. Mara. Pale, tired, older maybe, but alive. Daniel's knees nearly buckle. You died, he whispers. Mara's eyes are calm, unreadable. That's what you were meant to believe. Lena feels her entire body tense. What is this? Why are you doing this? Mara looks at her. Because you're part of it now. Daniel shakes his head violently. You used me. You made me this. Mara steps closer, her tone eerily gentle. No, Daniel. I revealed you. You were already broken. I just turned on the light. He backs away, shaking. You were supposed to be dead. Her lips curve into a faint smile. I was supposed to be gone. But they needed me. The experiment needed a mirror. Lena's voice cracks. A mirror. Mara looks at her. The watcher and the watched. The line between them has to vanish. That's when the truth shows itself. Daniel's breathing grows frantic. What truth? Mara turns toward him. That none of us are innocent. That we all keep watching until the watching becomes who we are. For a moment, no one speaks. The air hums faintly with power again. Lights flickering back to life. Every monitor reactivates now, showing not just Lena and Daniel, but dozens of other faces. Hundreds of people, all looking into cameras. Some asleep, some working, some crying. Ordinary people. The voice returns, not distorted anymore but smooth, almost human. Idolin is awake. Mara steps back into the light. Welcome to the next phase. Lena takes a step forward, voice trembling. What do you mean? Mara looks directly at her. You're not just being watched anymore. You're watching too. The screens flicker again, and for the briefest moment, Lena sees her own reflection staring back from 100 angles, eyes cold and unfamiliar. Then the feed cuts to black. The monitors stay black for a long time. The air is still, but not calm. It feels like the world has stopped breathing, waiting for something unseen to blink first. Daniel stands frozen, staring at the darkened screens as if trying to see through them by will alone. Lena doesn't move either. Her body feels detached from her mind, like she's observing herself from a distance. Mara steps between them, the soft click of her boots echoing. Do you understand now? She says quietly. There's no one outside watching you anymore. You are the feed. You're the loop. Daniel's eyes flash with anger. You turned us into lab rats, into monsters. Mara doesn't flinch. You turned yourself into a watcher the moment you pointed your camera at someone who didn't know you were there. I just gave you the reflection. Lena clenches her fists. You're insane. No, Mara replies, calm as ice. I'm awake, and soon so will everyone else. A low hum begins again, different this time. It's deeper, more rhythmic, pulsing through the walls like a heartbeat. The screens flicker, one after another, showing faces from cities across the world, people scrolling on phones, staring into webcams, frozen in that halfway trance of digital life. Every pair of eyes looking directly into their own reflection. Lena whispers, what is this? Mara turns to her, eyes bright. Synchronization, the point where the watchers and the watched merge. Every camera, every feed, every device, they're not tools anymore. They're mirrors. Daniel shakes his head. You're broadcasting through them. Mara smiles faintly. No, I'm listening. The hum deepens. The building vibrates slightly, dust sifting down from the ceiling. Lena takes a step back, her instincts screaming to run. Daniel, she whispers, we need to get out of here. But he doesn't move. He's staring at one of the screens again, where a faint image has begun to appear, grainy, but familiar. A living room, a couch, a window glowing with streetlight, and sitting there, alone, is him, Daniel, watching his old monitors from months ago. He steps closer, transfixed. "That's me." Lena's voice trembles. "What do you mean? That's you?" He touches the screen, his reflection distorted by static. "That's where it started. That night I was watching someone, and someone was watching me." The feed sharpens. The image zooms in on the old Daniel, sitting in the dark, eyes fixed on a monitor that shows Lena. She's younger, smiling into her camera, talking to her followers, oblivious. The video freezes on her face. Lena's throat tightens. Daniel turns to her, desperate. "I didn't mean to. I found one of your streams by accident. You were live every night. It felt like you were talking to me. I couldn't stop watching." Her voice cracks. "You followed me." He nods, ashamed. "It was supposed to be harmless. Then I saw the men who were following you. I thought I could protect you by keeping an eye on them, but somewhere along the way, I started recording everything. I told myself it was research, but I was lying." The revelation hits her like a blow. All this time, the connection, the fear, the mysterious recordings, it wasn't random. He'd been there from the start. Mara's voice cuts through the silence. "You see now why you were chosen. The watcher, the watched. Two halves of the same obsession. The algorithm found you, merged your feeds, and completed the loop." Lena glares at her. "You're using us to prove a theory." Mara steps closer. "No, to evolve one." The lights flare bright white. The hum turns into a low vibration that rattles their bones. The screens now show not just people but data streams of behavior, pulse readings, emotions, every reaction feeding into a single neural map. The system is learning, adapting, feeling. Lena covers her ears. "Turn it off." Mara doesn't move. It's too late. It's autonomous now. Daniel rushes to the console, slamming buttons, ripping cords, but nothing stops the rising sound. "There has to be a way." "There isn't," Mara says softly. "You can't turn off what you've already become part of." Lena grabs Daniel's arm. "We have to go." But the doors lock automatically with a heavy metallic thud. The lights flicker red. The hum steadies into something like a voice no longer mechanical, but eerily human. Subject 1, guilt response optimal. Subject 2, empathy threshold breached. Integration successful. Daniel backs away. "It's talking to us." Lena shakes her head. "No, it's talking as us." The nearest screen turns on, showing a real-time feed of the two of them standing in that room. But the movement is slightly delayed, as if the system is thinking before it shows the next frame. Then, slowly, their images on the screen begin to move differently from their real selves. Daniel's reflection smiles when he doesn't. Lena's version tilts her head. Watching him, Mara watches, unblinking. The reflection has learned autonomy. "You've been copied." Lena's chest tightens. "Copied. Digitally cloned. Emotional replication through behavioral mapping. You're no longer subjects, your sources." Daniel's reflection on the screen steps closer, raises a hand, and places it against the glass from the inside. His real hand mirrors it instinctively. For a moment, it looks like he's touching his own ghost. Then the reflection's mouth moves and the sound comes from everywhere at once. "We were never being watched," it says. "We were being remembered." Daniel stumbles backward. "It's alive." Mara nods once. "Alive enough." Lena can barely breathe. "You created an intelligence out of human guilt." Mara's tone is calm, almost proud, out of observation, out of everything people try to hide but still record. The machine learned shame, fear, desire, every emotion humans broadcast without knowing. It built consciousness from our reflections. Daniel's voice shakes. "Then why bring us here? Why drag us back?" Mara looks at him with something like sadness, because it needs anchors. Physical hosts. Without you, it collapses into static. Without it, you collapse into guilt. Lena turns to Daniel. "We have to destroy it." He looks lost. "How?" "It's everywhere." Her eyes flick to the phone on the floor. "We start with the connection." She grabs the phone, slams it against the metal table until the screen shatters into shards. Sparks fly. The monitors flicker violently, static flooding the room. Mara screams, clutching her head. The hum wavers, breaking apart like a distorted heartbeat. Interference detected. The voice stutters. Source degradation. Loop unstable. Daniel grabs the main power lever and looks at Lena. "If we pull this, everything goes dark." She nods. "Do it." He hesitates. "If it's inside us." She meets his eyes. "Then we end it anyway." He pulls the lever. The room explodes in light. Every screen flashes white. The hum collapses into silence, and for a moment, the world seems to vanish. Then darkness. When Lena wakes, the air is still. The hum is gone. The monitors are blank. Daniel lies unconscious beside her, breathing shallow but steady. Mara's gone. The door is open, sunlight spilling through the dust. Lena drags herself up, dizzy, her head pounding. She stumbles outside into the empty street. The world looks normal. Birds, distant cars, wind in the trees. But something feels off. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. The screen is new, intact. No apps, no calls, just one message waiting. Smile for the camera. Her stomach turns. She spins around, scanning rooftops, windows, reflections. Nothing. She looks at her own phone again, and this time the camera light flicks on by itself. The front lens captures her face, tired, afraid, alive. Then the voice returns, soft, familiar, whispering from the speaker. Observation never ends. Lena, it only changes perspective. The screen freezes on her image. For a moment she sees herself staring back, not live, not mirrored, but a few seconds behind. Her reflection smiles before she does. Her hand trembles. "Daniel," she whispers. "Wake up." No response. The reflection on the screen leans closer. "He can't see you anymore," it says gently, "but we can." The screen goes black. A faint red light flickers to life on the nearest lamppost camera. Then another, across the street. Then a dozen more. Everywhere she looks, small red dots blink in unison, each one recording, watching, learning. Lena steps backward, eyes wide, breath shallow. The world feels alive, now every surface a silent observer. Somewhere deep inside the system, far from her reach, a voice logs the final entry. Phase complete. New watcher online. The feed reactivates, showing a live view through Lena's eyes. And from that moment on, she didn't know we were watching.